Hey y'all. Hey y'all. This is gonna be a quick conversation. All right. We just got some real quick things to get into. I'm gonna edit the thumbnail and the title and all that good stuff later. But I feel like this is the perfect time to have this conversation. Ain't much going on right now. Okay. It's kind of calm, cool, collected. Um, First, I want to talk about Arionne Curry supposedly allegedly getting beat up. Okay, I want to talk about Joi and Cliffton supposedly coming to the DC cast for Love and Marriage DC. I do want to go through some of Melody's live interview that she did with the Shade Room. Because I was watching that and I had a lot of thoughts on it. So I figured we're gonna get up here and we're gonna talk about this thing real quick. Okay, so um let's start with Joi and Clifton. Y'all, okay, so out of all the people that they could have picked to put on a cast of Love and Marriage DC, why did they decide to choose Joi and Clifton? I mean, he did get down on one knee and propose to her a ring. Not I'm lying, child. It wasn't even a ring. Proposed to her a key. A key. Hey Sharon, how are you? Proposed to her a key for what I don't know. Okay. And Love and Marriage DC is supposed to be marriage. Okay. All the couples up there are married. Okay. So what are they going to bring to the show? What do we need them for? I really feel like this is the couple we did not ask for on reality TV, and I already kind of checked out of Love and Marriage DC, so I really feel like bringing them back for me, I don't want to watch it. Hey Dominique, girl, what's going on? I really just don't want to watch it. Hey Marvina, what is up? Okay. Where did this Joi and Clifton news come from? So allegedly, Kamisha Reviews posted a video and a thumbnail on Instagram, and she said that it's not definite, but it is rumors. Now we all know that she has a relationship with Joi and Clifton, so I'm pretty sure probably one of them maybe tipped her off a little bit or said it's in the works, or maybe they discussing it, because she didn't say it was definite. She definitely said it's all alleged, could be, whatever the case may be. So we don't know how accurate it is. Okay, but what I will say is that I don't want it. I don't want it. And there's so many layers to it. For one, they are not married. So I don't think they should be on a Love and Marriage show. Don't turn this into a housewife situation where people aren't really housewives. Let's not do that. Or people are not really married. They're just plain married, or whatever the case may be. Like, he proposed to her a key. Like, how about we get Simone and Rashid? Now, I think personally, if they was going to do a couple, it definitely needs to be Simone and Rashid. Why not them two? Maybe because they're not from DC. But I really feel like if they was going to add anybody to the cast, it could have been them. They're actually married. That would have been nice. Well, they're getting married. That journey would be nice to see. I don't feel like they're gonna bring us anything of substance. I don't think they've been together long enough to bring us anything of substance. So I'm just gonna say it's a no for me. I was already checking out of this franchise, so I'm definitely checking out of this whole situation if they decide to bring them in. Like, it's just not a go for me. I don't like the way they handled the Kia. I just don't like it. The vibes that I got from them, I just don't like it. Okay. So with that being said, I really feel like don't do it. Like, what happened to the other couple, the other girl and her husband that they kept trying to, show every now and then again? I think her name was Brandy. Why they didn't bring her onto the show with her husband, because she was already part of the season, kind of? That would make more sense. You know what I mean? They don't seem authentic. Definitely don't, Marvina. They definitely don't. I walked in on my dog going, oh, whoa. Okay, you might have to get blocked because I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm gonna block that person because I don't know what they're talking about. But I honestly feel like we need to, like, not go this route where we're just literally picking people up off of other reality TV shows and bringing them in. Like, Carlos, please don't do this. Okay, Carlos King has really been, like, low key working on my nerves, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Okay, like I was mentioning earlier in my DC live, when we were talking about him and his caption under the Bell Collective photo on Instagram, he said, Hold on, let me go to it real quick, y'all, so I could read it to you. Where is it? Did I delete it? I don't think I deleted. Oh, okay. He said, tonight is the night of season two premiere Bell Collective. This season we're focusing more on the couples since I know a thing or two about that. I'm proud this season. I'm proud of this season. The cast brought it, and I can't wait to unwrap this gift with y'all. I really feel like Carlos is doing. No, we don't want to hear that. I really feel like he is starting to prey on marriages and relationships. And I get it because it's good for TV. But when you go and intentionally focus on it, I think that's when it becomes a mess. Like, I get it, it's love and marriage. But Bell Collective is not love and marriage anything. So it doesn't have to be focused on anybody's marriage. I thought we were trying to buy Ferry Street up and be girl power and all that other stuff. Okay. But I really just feel like I don't like when you target the person's relationships. Let me say that. I don't like when the target is the relationship. It's one thing to sign up for a show to, want to go through your experience and you talk about your marriages and this, that, and the other, but to target the relationship as if this season, not last season, but this season, we definitely going to tune in on the relationships because I know a thing or two about that. Like, I don't like the vibe that I got from that. So that kind of rubbed me wrong just to begin with, okay? Arionne Curry is supposedly out here getting beat up in these streets. Now, let me tell y'all, last night y'all kept sending me the lives. Okay, so I kept jumping on the lives because I was trying to figure out whether or not homegirl was going to say something, spiral, act crazy. I was going to screen record it. We was going to talk about it because y'all know that's what we do. That's what we do. Okay, so when she was in this like like building or whatever the case may be, like it looked like she was at somebody's house party, whatever the case may be. Supposedly the people ran up on her afterwards and they was like, doing her dirty. She got beat up. Now, I will say this. I hope and pray that she is okay. Okay. I don't want her to be physically hurt or, injured terribly or anything like that. But I do feel like every now and then some people deserve to get their hands laid on them. Do I encourage it? Absolutely no. I don't encourage it. And I honestly feel like whoever did it, I hope that it's not a fan. I hope it's not somebody who was like, oh my God, I'm about to beat her up for Melody. I hope it's not that situation. I hope that if somebody got into a fight with her, it was literally because of something she had done to them. Y'all know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to fight somebody, fight them on behalf of yourself, not on behalf of somebody else, especially if it's somebody you don't know. So I really pray that it wasn't some crazy fan running up on her to beat her up because they feel like they wanted to fight her for Melody. Because I don't think that that is a probable cause for that case, okay? Especially if you don't know her. Okay, personally wise, I don't see what Martell saw in Arionne. She was young, dumb, and naive, and he can manipulate her, and that's exactly what he did. It's not really much for us to see. He did what she's on the internet crying how he manipulated her and he did this, that, and the other because she was so young. Like, she basically told us what it was. I'm sure he found her attractive. I'm sure she probably had some good box. I'm sure, it didn't hurt that she was always available to him. I'm sure that it didn't hurt that she was always believing his lies and made him feel good. And I'm sure she stroked his ego and all that other stuff. I'm sure she did all those things for that man to make him feel good. And so he saw something in her enough to have multiple pregnancies and a child by her at this point. So at the end of the day, I really hope that whoever beat her up, okay, please let it have been because you wanted to beat her up. Don't be like the girl who went and bought her her LLC or her website name or whatever the case may be, and then it's the wrong thing and they come back on you. Don't be beating people up. Like, don't go beating up people you don't know for other people you don't know. Okay, let's not do that. I really hope that she is okay and she is not really, really hurt. But I do understand that sometimes you just want to put your hands on somebody. So if she did something to you and if she deserved to beat down, then by any means necessary, go ahead and get the beat down, Arionne. But they said that she had got her lashes snatched off and all types of stuff. baby, I'm ready to see the pictures. Okay. If she go live, make sure y'all tag me and let me know what's going on. At the end of the day, I really just hope that she is physically okay. We already know she's not mentally okay. So I'm pretty sure she'll be on the internet probably going off ranting and raving about somebody trying to beat her up and how she's still standing strong or whatever the case may be, because that's what the girls do. Y'all know how the girls move. So I really hope that that's not what's happening. I really hope she's been clowning in her live. She been live lately? I don't think she's been live lately. No, I don't think so. I'm talking about like the last live. But like she kept going live last night and right, do it for yourself, not for someone else you don't even know. Like I'm not gonna go beat up somebody because they did something to someone I don't know. And I don't know neither one of them. But if you do something to me or you do something to my sister or my mama, then maybe you'll get these hands. You know what I'm saying? So I really hope that's the case. I really, y'all, please, whoever beat Arionne, can you please tell me that it was for you and not for Melanie? Because Melanie is not really bothered. Okay, she's not really bothered. She's out here doing her own thing, living her own life, and whatever the case may be. So let Arionne go on there and act the fool. But I do want to talk about the interview that Melody did with the Shade Room. I'm gonna play some of it, and I'm gonna add my little commentary in on it because for some reason, y'all, this interview really it made me feel something. Okay, and I'm gonna start by saying this. Remember when we was doing my live and we was talking about Arionne on her live and whatever the case may be, and I remember this girl name. Her name was Melissa. She made a comment about how I hope Chloe's husband isn't cheating on her because she seems so secure in her marriage. That really made me feel some type of way. Okay, I'm being very transparent. I feel like no woman marries a man and expect to be cheated on. No woman marries a man and expect to get a divorce. No woman marries a man, have children with them, and expect to be embarrassed to the extent that she has been through. Okay, no woman marries a man and think that it's gonna end the way that it does. No one marries a man and say, "Oh, dag, now I'm fighting for custody of my children." Like these are not the intentions that you go into a marriage with. So when people say stuff like that, it bothers me because the reality of it is that this is a possibility. We don't put anything past anybody in any relationship, a marriage, a commitment, a partnership, any type of anything where you're involving two people where their emotions or money is involved or children is involved, it can always go bad. You never jump into it with the assumption that this is going to be my outcome. Okay, but you always know that there's a possibility that this could be your outcome. It made me feel so bad in the inside because for so long I've been hearing about this story when it comes to Melanie, and then I've been hearing about the story when it comes to like her and Martell, and I feel like for some reason I felt like she handled it so strong. Okay, but when she talked in this interview and she talked about how she had moments where she was just crying and moments where she was just hurt and how she didn't expect for this to happen, it just really hit me inside because it's like you never ever expect it. So when people say things like I hope your husband isn't cheating on you because you seem so secure. No, I should seem secure in my relationship. I should not be walking around insecure in my relationship. But at the end of the day, that does not stop somebody from doing whatever it is that they want to do. You can have all the security that you want. You could be so confident about everything, but that does not mean that that person that you have made a commitment to or a vow to or whatever to cannot go ahead and make their own decisions to do what they want to do. I always tell y'all that marriage, relationships, all that is a choice. You have to literally wake up every day and choose to be with this person that you're with. You have to wake up every day and choose to be committed. You have to wake up and choose to be loyal. You have to wake up and choose to be honest and vulnerable. You have to wake up every day and choose this, which is why some people wake up and they are fed up. She also talked about how when she was in her relationship, people, it was like She tried to make it work. She tried to make it work. She tried to make it work. And she even got to a point where she just stopped doing the things that she would do as a wife. And then one of her friends or her family members told her that you still do what you're supposed to do as a wife because you are a wife. And she kept saying, God, please release me. God, please release me. This is what I mean about this culture where it's like, if you cheat, I'm going to cheat back. If you do this, I'm going to do this back. Remember that how you respond to things also becomes your karma. Okay. So because somebody did you wrong does not mean you go ahead and do them wrong or you do the same thing, because then now you are becoming part of the cycle. Okay, now you're doing a tit for tat situation. I'm going to continue to give my 110%. I'm going to continue to be the wife that I promised that I would be, and let God handle you. You know what I mean? So I really, honestly, it just really just made me feel some type of way, because it's like we need to do better as women and sticking together. Okay. So let me just play some of this clip for y'all. Because it definitely had me in my feelings a little bit. We don't wish any woman, man, or child be in that mess if outside people. Right. Okay, so let me see. Child, not the commercial. Not the commercial. All right. As soon as the commercial stop, y'all, I'm gonna play it.
About me is when I feel something in my spirit, when God says go, same way. But taking some time to self-reflect, taking some time to spend, go through the things I've gone through and still come out on top. Yeah, I think the transparency that you have on the show with your fans, even on social media, is something that people really respect about you. Why was it important for you to be transparent and kind of, for lack of a better word, air out your dirty laundry, in front of the world? I will say, always be the person to be real and honest about your situation. Don't ever allow an opportunity for someone else to hold something over your head or to, worry that it's going to come out eventually. Be honest, be straight up. That's the only way I know to be. I've always been that way. And so I knew that if I wanted to do reality TV, I wanted it to be real for me. Yeah. I wanted it to be real for me. And so many times, especially as women, we feel like we're going through things and we're going through them alone, or it's just us. And especially in the Black community, we're told what.
And that's another point that she made. A lot of women feel like they're going through things alone because there's always someone in the background telling you, oh, you didn't cook enough, you didn't clean enough, you didn't have sex enough, you didn't do this enough, you wasn't sexy enough, you wasn't available enough. It's always someone in the background telling you how it's your fault. So a lot of women take that shame and that embarrassment and they use that as a cover up, because it's better for me to stay in this relationship and make it seem like I got it all together than to actually let this relationship go. And that's why sometimes some people stay in these things, these toxic relationships, longer than they should.
Those in behind these doors stay in the house. Whatever in the house, stay in the house, right? We're told that. And so you end up having a lot of people who are growing up with different traumas that they're holding on to, which is creating traumatized adults who are emotionally immature, who are spiritually, immature, and adults that are literally living in trauma and aren't healed, right? And so I just knew that I definitely wanted to be straightforward with where I was in my life at that time. Did I think that I would eventually end up divorced? Absolutely not. Yeah. I think that was something that nobody, obviously you didn't see it coming, but being somebody that watched the show since the first season, you guys were so well put together. Y'all were that family. You know what I'm saying? You guys were that family. And so I think that curveball was something that really threw people for a loop, and obviously you guys are the ones that are living it. So what was it like for you to kind of go through that process from obviously season 1 to now season 4, where you guys have 4 children, you guys are divorced, you guys do have these spats and combative nature toward each other? How have you kind of navigated that? So first I want to definitely shout out, family, friends, supporters of the show who continuously, kept us in their prayers, right? So appreciative of that. Shout out to Carlos King. Like he said from the gate, I'm gonna hold your hand through this. We got this. We're gonna be all right, you know? And so just having support from people definitely helped navigate some of that. And I think being willing to take time to reflect, to, you know, just sometimes go back in those moments and see maybe what would you have done differently? What could you have done differently? Would you have done anything differently? Because sometimes the answer is I would have done nothing differently. It was still, I would have handled it the exact same way. But taking some time to self-reflect, taking some time to spend some time, as I always say that isolation brings about elevation. So for me, at times, I would disappear from social media. Yeah. I would give myself a social media break, you know, and spend time working on me and healing so that I wouldn't be one of those people who end up being a traumatized adult for the rest of my life or an unhealed adult for the rest of my life. Yeah. So it was important for me to take care of me and, of course, to take care of my babies during the process.
Yeah. How are they doing through this transition?
I'm going to fast forward.
They're getting older and they know how to do something, you know, in 30 days or less. Name change, no big deal. And then I found...
Hold on, y'all.
And I just want to make one more thing crystal clear before we continue. Are you going by Melody Holt or are you going by Melody Shari? That's your middle name, right?
Melody Cherie.
Melody Cherie. Okay. Are you going by Melody Cherie or are you still going by Melody Holt?
So I am going by Melody Cherie. Okay. My management team fortunately has submitted my information for my handles to be changed, so I'm waiting on that. But I am going by Melody Cherie. I've already, to be honest with you, I actually had reached out to my attorney to do an official legal name change, right? And so I was planning on doing that process, thought it would be something, you know, in 30 days or less, name change, no big deal. And then I found out that because I am currently in a custody battle, that I'm unable to change. So if you have any other proceeding happening in the state, you can't change your last name at the time. Okay. And so because, unfortunately, I am dealing with that, I can't legally change my name yet.
Okay. Okay. A lot of your fans...
All right, y'all. So let me be transparent for a second. Okay. So my last name is Bay. My mating last name is Bay, and my husband's last name is Johnson, right? And I still have a fear of changing my name legally. Besides the fact that it's a whole lot of paperwork, it's a whole lot of paperwork. It's a lot of things. I still have a fear of that because I feel like anything could happen. After watching so many of these shows and, you know, seeing people in their relationships deal with divorce and things like that, it just makes you feel like anything can happen. And then I have to go through all of these things again in the process and stuff like that, which is why when people say things like, oh, I hope that this isn't happening to you because then, you know, you seem so secure, like it's going to be a slap in your face if somebody cheats on you and does something to you, you know? And it's something that a lot of people don't discuss, especially when getting married and taking the last name of a husband or a wife or, you know, spouses or however it works. It's one of those things where it's like you always have this what if. Okay, you never want to be like, oh, this is what's going to happen or this is the outcome, but you always have this thing of what if. And for me, it's always been this what if, you know, I changed my last name to Johnson and then it doesn't work out. And then I have to change it back to Bay. And then I have to go through all of this. There's always this thing of what if, right? But then the part of me says, I want to change my last name because I want my daughter to have the same last name as me. Like, I want us all to be a family. I want it to be, you know, when they say Mr. Johnson, they really talking about me and my daughter, the parent of Milan Johnson. That's me. You know what I mean? So I really, really get to this point where it's like, when you hear someone discuss the fact that like something about their name change, like she can't even go back and change her name because the man that she married and had these children with is taking her through a custody battle. You never think that the man you marry and lay down with and have children with, especially planned children, It's one thing to have children. Okay, you know how children happen, but it's another thing to actually have planned children with someone and for them to turn around and basically stab you in the back. Okay, now according to Melody, they have joint custody, so they went through a whole joint custody situation to now he wants full custody. But your baby mama is out here fighting in the streets and on the internet, spiraling and doing all of this, and this is not the child that you're trying to get custody of. Instead, you want to get custody of the children who are with your ex-wife, who is taking good care of these children, making sure that they have everything needed, provide, not stopping you from being with them, seeing them, or anything like that. You just want to take her through hell out of spite. That's a lot. That's a lot. Because if you really cared that much about, oh, I want my children, what about the child that's over there sick? Every time we jump on live with this girl, she's sick. This baby is sick, coughing up his lungs, poor baby. And she'd rather be on live talking to the people because she got this many people on her live. Or she's at the bar in a hole in the wall, drunk, on Instagram, going outside to get beat up by somebody. But this is not the child that you want custody of. Make that make sense. So you already can tell that it's spiteful. And that's what I mean. Like, sometimes you never know how things can play out and what people really have inside of them or are harboring and what evils they possess that can really just alter your life in a blink of an eye. And I honestly feel like if he's going to take, I feel like he got to have a gain from this. And what's the gain? Maybe child support. Y'all think he's trying to get child support from Mel? Like, what's the gain? What would he really get from getting custody of his children? The fact that he could say he's a full-time dad, like, what would he get? These children are already traumatized from the fact that their mother and father split up. They going from week here to week here, weekends here to weekends here, going back and forth between the mothers and the grandmothers and all this other stuff because the mom and dad can't get it right. And then you go and inflict more trauma on these children for your own personal vendetta. It's spite. It's to spite her.
I've been seeing the talks on social media. A lot of your fans seem to think that you are not going to change your last name because, you know, your children have that last name. That's your, that's the family name. And that's the name that's on the business that you help to cultivate. How do you feel about that?
All right, y'all. It went on commercial. Give me a second. Child support to help take care of those. Number 5. Hey, Cliff, where you been? Martell needs to leave things as is. He's hurting his kids. He just wants her money and to be able, to micromanage Mel's life. The play, I think.
Things that way. Me making the decision to change my last name had nothing to do with anyone, to be honest with you. Literally, I was the same way. That's why I can say I understand. Because I remember people used to ask me, when are you going to change your last name? Are you going to change your last name? And my answer was, no. I was married. My children's last name is Holt. So I'm going to keep that last name. And literally one day I was in my kitchen and I remember I was reaching up in my medicine cabinet to grab something and it dropped in my spirit, change your last name. That day I hit my management team and I was like, hey, I'm changing my last name. The next day I reached out to my attorney. How do I start the process to change my last name? Because one thing about me is when I feel something in my spirit, when God says go, on anything, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, let's go. That's all I need. When I feel that in my spirit, that's it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, what anybody else's opinion is. It doesn't matter. So I started moving on it. And like I said, because of the fact that I am being sued for custody, I can't do it. So
how do you feel about that? The custody suit that's going on right now?
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. I mean, we've been doing week on, week off, or when I first left in 2020, sometimes 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever. We've been doing an exchange for a long time. So it's very interesting is what I'll say.
What is it that he's seeking? Does he want full custody, or he just wants joint custody?
We already have joint custody.
Yeah, okay. So he's looking for full custody. Oh. Okay. Oh, all right. That's why it's interesting. Okay, yeah. I'm here with you. I'm here with you. Okay. All right. So speaking of, we know you, God Says Go is one of your mottos. It's part of your brand. It's part of who you are now. Do you think that had anything to do with your decision to file for divorce? Because I know, on previous episodes, you kind of revealed that, there were points in time where Martell wasn't being faithful and things like that, but you guys were trying to work through it. And then, the baby came and, it just started to things just started to roll out of control. But do you think those are the only things that had to do with the divorce, or were there underlying things that we hadn't seen or don't know about?
So let me say this. Whenever I chose to walk away from my marriage in April of 2020, I didn't even know about another child at that time. Not at all.
Okay.
So it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with me recognizing that a person that I'd already given years to grow up, to get themselves together, to put their family first, it wasn't happening. And I recognized that mindset just in conversation. You know what I'm saying? Just in certain movement. And I had nobody had told me he was doing anything. Nobody had, really, no one had, hit me up and said he was doing anything. I hadn't heard anything. It was literally listening. And I'm like, these conversations showing this person still is at zero. You haven't grown any, even though I've given you years to grow. Yeah. And so that point for me, I'll be honest with you, once I had Milani, Sugar Mama, I was literally in the hospital when they took me to my room the next day, and I got in the shower and I just broke out crying while I was in the shower. I just started crying. And I felt in my spirit, it is finished.
Yeah.
And I knew then that if anything felt off, if anything felt anything, I was out. Because God said so. That was my release. And I had been waiting on that. There were times, I would be in my closet crying. I would be in my shower at home crying. And I would be like, God, when you going to release me? Like, because I ain't felt the release yet. You know what I'm saying? And that was tough because at times I would find myself, you know how we do as women, especially if your man ain't doing right by you. You ain't gonna cook nothing, you ain't gonna clean nothing. Don't ask me to do nothing. Okay? And seriously, and I would go through that at times, but then I would check myself. You know what I'm saying? Either me checking myself or certain friends of mine who've been married and divorced, checking me and being like, look, Mel, you keep doing what you're supposed to do as a wife because that's what God is going to honor. So I'm still over here after I done had my little maybe week or two where I ain't doing nothing. I'm back cooking. I'm back cleaning. Back doing the laundry. I'm like, okay, God, So it got to the point where it was like, okay, God, when are you going to release me? Because then a few months later, there's something else. Then we're good. Then a few months later, there's something else. And so after I had Milani and I felt that release, like I said, I knew then, if I felt anything, I was out. And we were literally in the middle of the pandemic. She was only 3 months old, and I was gone. I left. I left.
How difficult would you say it was for you to make that decision at that point in time?
At that point in time, it was actually, believe it or not, easy. Easy. I have had moments where I've walked away and left and gone back. You know what I'm saying? But this particular time, again, because of that release spiritually, it wasn't that difficult for me. Did I still have my moments of hurt and disappointment that my marriage didn't work? Absolutely, right? Nobody thinks they're going to have a newborn baby and be leaving a marriage of over 11, 12 years, right? So absolutely, it was moments when, I felt the pain from it, absolutely. But in terms of regretting, double thinking it, I didn't go through that this
time. Let me say this. Y'all know that I'm always one of those people who say I believe in fighting for your marriage through anything. I feel like if it's worth fixing, go ahead and fix it. And I honestly feel like listening to Mel talk that she did her due diligence with her husband in her relationship. I feel like she went through those stages where it was like, I'm leaving, but I'm coming back because, we're married. We could work through this. You're trying to grow. You're trying to move. You're saying these things. He was being very manipulative and stuff like that. And I honestly feel like no one can tell you when it's time for you to leave, but when it's ready, when God releases you. Okay. When you see women, and that just hit me, sometimes when you see women flourish after divorce and things like that, it's because they were stifled in their marriages. They didn't have the support that they needed. They had someone pulling them down. That energy that they were always feeling, this feeling of doubt and insecurities and things like that, that always takes a toll on your mental space, your health, and your physical being. So I feel like sometimes when you let that toxic go, you evolve and you become a different version of yourself. Watching, listening to her talk, and she says that it was so easy this time. Imagine how many times that she's tried to walk away from those marriages, like walk away from her marriage and walk away from that commitment and walk away from the vows and walk away from the relationship that they both have with the children, thinking about all the hurt and sadness and pain and all the decisions that you have to make, because you know that this one thing can alter a whole new reality for you and your children. Well, this is one thing that I say is this is why I feel like sometimes it's good to fight for your marriage. But when you get to that point where you are fed up, like that song, R. Kelly's song, when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you could do about it. You can literally drag her through the mud and y'all can finally get it together and you can be the perfect man for her. And you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. And now she's done. If y'all want an example, I don't know if y'all watched The Shop, but if you look at how Emmett and his wife was, right? He was cheating on his wife. He was doing all these things to his wife before they got married, all right? Then he finally mans up and he wanted to do right by her and he married her and this, that, and the other. And then she just was over it. You know how it's like, you finally get what you want, but because you endured so much in the process that you just wake up one day and be over it. So when she said that she felt like she was praying for that release, she said to herself, the next time I feel something, the next time I hear something, the next time my intuition tells me get out, I am going. So that's why it was easy for her. So sometimes when we go through these phases as women, especially from other women on the outside looking in that says, girl, you need to leave him. Girl, you need to leave him. Just because you need to leave him does not mean that this is your time, because she could have left him previously or times before, but I feel like the time that she did was the time that she was able to handle it and to be able to flourish and not fall into deep depression, not be longing for him. Sometimes when we do things prematurely, we also suffer the backlash and the consequences of those actions. Okay. And I think that's why it's important when she said that she needed God to release her. Because if we just get up and leave sometimes and we really don't want to, it's one thing to play with the mind and another thing to play with the heart. You can play with your mind and leave because you know it's the right thing to do. But if your heart is longing for someone, if your heart is wanting someone, you are emotionally still attached. Sometimes you have to go through that detachment, and that detachment involves staying attached to someone so that you can become detached. If that makes sense? When you force it apart, that's when it hurts. But when it gradually just falls away, the regret is gone. You know that you did what you were supposed to do in your marriage. You know that you fought. You know that you continue being faithful. You know that you continue being a good mother, a good wife. You knew that you gave all that you could to a marriage, to a person, to your family, and you fought till there was no more fighting to be done. So when you walk away, you have this sense of peace of knowing that I did what was best for me. I did what was best for my children. I tried it. I stuck true to my vows. I did everything that I was supposed to do. He didn't hold up his deal, or she didn't hold up her deal. And it's so much easier for you to live. So you don't have that regret of what if. See, that's why people end up going back into those relationships and falling back into those toxic relationships, because they always going through this what if phase. They trying to force things apart until it's time, prematurely. And that's why I feel like you need to learn to fight. And if you get beat up, okay, when you start healing, the pain won't hurt no more. Cause you'll realize, like, I've been hurt worse than this. I felt worse than this. This doesn't hurt me as bad as that hurt me. Walking away feels better than staying. There's no what ifs anymore. And I really feel like she found her peace. In this, I felt her pain, but I also saw her strength. And sometimes it makes it's embarrassing for women to sometimes go through that process to say, oh, my marriage is over. Oh, my family is broken apart. Oh, my husband cheated on me, because the blame always somehow seems to be on a woman for some strange, odd reason, or whatever the case may be. Okay. The shame always falls back on a woman. Like, so what did you do? Was you doing what you were supposed to do? Did you cook him meals every night? Did you sleep with him every night? Did you take care of the children? Was you driven enough? Was you ambitious enough? Did you make up yourself enough? Were you sexy? You know men are visual. Was you giving him something to look at? Was you feeding his ego, making him feel like a man? It goes into all these excuses as to why people do make the mistakes that they want to make. If a man wants to go and put his penis in somebody, it has nothing to do with what you're not doing. It has everything to do with what he wants to do. So I honestly, I looked at this and I was like, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It spoke to so many different points in relationships and marriages, especially dealing with divorce and stuff like that. So I think that her telling her story and putting it out there is really, really good for people, for people in marriages and relationships, because you never think that, after 17 years of marriage, after having a brand new baby, that one day you're going to wake up and it's going to be like, I don't want this no more. Especially after you done fought so hard for it. You know what I mean? You done been through this infidelity. You done been through this lie. You done been through this cheating. You done been through so many things. You fought so hard. And finally, you are at this point in this peak where everything seems to be falling into place. And you like, I don't even want it no more. And that's literally how it happens sometimes. You listen to these women when they are 50, 60 years old and they getting divorced and they say, I just woke up one day and I said, I'm done. They literally say stuff like that. After being married for years, just waking up one day and being done. Baby, I held my head up high. This man lack of morals and restraint is not my problem. Exactly. But for some reason, they throw it back on you. Remember the comment, right? I really hope that, your husband's not cheating on you because you seem so secure. How does me being secure, what does that have to do with him sticking his penis in somebody? I should feel secure in my marriage, Like you really should. Honestly, I think everyone should feel secure in their marriage. But that don't negate the fact that if he decided to do something that he gonna go do it. It don't negate the fact that 16 years from now I could be divorced. God forbid. Jesus, please don't, Lord. I need my husband. But I'm just saying, like, that's how life happens. When the heart breaks, it's enough. It bleeds out, and you are done. Yeah, I have gone through the same situation, and I threw up the deuces real quick. God in turn gave me a great man and a stepdad to my granddaughter and 2 additional children. See? Yes, right, Monique. She said, I'm glad you knew your worth. Maybe you could counsel Khloe Kardashian. Child, she ain't no saving her. she want what she want when she want it. Maybe one day she'll say enough is enough. But that's all I got, y'all. I just wanted to go through that clip real quick. I wanted to talk about Joi and Cliffton, Arionne, and that's it, y'all. I ain't really got nothing else to give y'all. I'm gonna jump up off of here. I'm going to relax, chill, drink me some wine, get me some sleep, and get ready for Great Adventures tomorrow because I'm going to Six Flags. I'm getting on all the roller coasters because my daughter is finally old enough to ride the roller coasters, all of them, and we it's about to be lit. Okay. Oh, funny story. So real quick, real quick. I did my daughter's hair for her dance recital, y'all. Let me tell y'all. I put it in a ponytail on Thursday. I sent her to dance practice on Friday. I said, girl, I need you to go in there, go full out, swing the hair, do all of this. Make sure that ponytail does not unravel. So if it unravels, I can fix it. We can make it tight. While my baby had her recital today and while she was up there getting it in, okay, she was getting down, she was majoretting, she was popping it and flipping and all types of stuff. Baby, why her ponytail start unraveling on? My poor baby ponytail started coming out. I said, oh Lord, not my baby ponytail. But let me tell you, my daughter kept dancing. She kept going. When she came off, when she came out, she said, and I kept going. And I kept going. I said, that's right, baby. That's right. My poor baby ponytail was gone. I mean, the whole thing didn't come off, but y'all know, like the part that wrap around, child, about it, the whole thing didn't fall completely off, but it definitely unraveled. And she just kept going. So I'm just gonna shout out my little Moochie because she did her thing and she held it up like a G. Period. Okay, and she said she ate with and she left no crumbs. Period. You say hey the Rise of Great Adventures. I'm glad they made Six Flags in Massachusetts. Oh yeah. I'm in Jersey, so I'm about to go have a good time tomorrow. But anyway, y'all, like this video, subscribe to the channel, check out my Ready to Love review, Married at First Sight review, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.